So I just finished a new season of Squid Game. For the record, 7.8 out of 10, not too bad. But as I was watching this new season, my mind couldn't help but wander. I couldn't help but think, what if Squid Game was real? What if I lived in South Korea? What if I was in Squid Game? Well, that's exactly what we'll be going over today. Today, ladies and gentlemen, instead of an action movie, or horror game, I'll be going over how I would survive every single game in Squid Game. Yeah, the series is back for like the sixth time or something, I don't know. Giving you my strategy, my game plan, my thought process. However, rules for this one. I have to go into these games clueless. I have no insider info. I'm not smart enough to predict the games. Nothing. So in short, I have not played these games before. And the first game I'll be starting with is... You guys know the game, the most iconic one from the show, the first one they played, and we all played it growing up. This one is probably the easiest of the games I'm gonna go over in this video. All we gotta do is make it across the field before the timer ends and stop every time the doll says to. Pretty easy. Even having it be a huge doll repeating a track makes it so much easier, especially compared to the friends I grew up playing this game with, because they used to be some cheaters. But it's not all easy. There are some challenges, some obstacles I gotta take into consideration when doing this one. Firstly, the initial shock. Obviously, at some point during the game, someone's gonna goof around and move. Maybe they tripped, wanted to check the time, had to scratch their ball, something. All I know is someone gonna move and we gonna hear a pop. And when we do hear that pop, it's gonna send a lot of people into a panic. Which begs the question, how much movement is considered movement? Obviously, I know I'm not allowed to go into a full sprint when it's red like the people who just ran away. But what I'm asking is, when the first elimination happens and some people get scared, what's the difference between me shaking nervously like this girl who got popped and me straight up flinching like the sun did? Not saying I'm gonna do either. I'm not no scaredy cat. I'm just saying it might get cold, I might shiver. I'm just trying to play it safe. Second thing to take into consideration, the people around me. In this game, you're literally playing with 455 other people who are all competing for money. And these people, let me just tell you, this ain't like grabbing your average Joe Schmo off the street and telling them to compete. No. These people are poor. I'm not even being mean. They're broker than broke. They're in debt. Imagine Haiti. Yeah, whether it was their parlays weren't hitting, that hot 2 coin pump and dump, or a few bad decisions led up to them using that fent, it don't matter how they became broke. They got slapped to be here. And again, we are competing for money. People who aren't in this much debt are already out here doing some strange things for money. So best believe amongst these 455 people, some of them are definitely going to be willing to do some egregious things for that cheese. Meaning in this situation, I gotta see every single one of them as an op. Except 222 and 149. Everyone else though, I'm assuming they out to get me. So immediately after the initial shock, first thing I'm gonna do is stay at the very back of the group and all the way to the far left side. That way no one could push me from behind, and I also have someone in front of me to cover any potential shivering I might do from the cold. And the good thing about this is this also puts me in a position to attack. Maybe I decide I really want that money. For what reason? I don't know. I'm a grown man. I got bills to pay, manga to buy. I don't know. I need the money. And thankfully, this strategy puts me in a position to do a little shoving, a little pushing, maybe even pull out the forbidden move. Psst. Yo. That girl to your right said you're cute. I'ma do what I need to do, cause red light, green light, I'm bodying this one. Now the second game, that might be a little more tricky. As a lot of y'all know, in this one, the people playing gotta select one of the 4 shapes on the wall: triangle, circle, star, and umbrella. And once they do, the shape ends up being the one they have to cut out of a cookie. And while some of you may now be thinking, Derek, that sounds way easier than the first one. What were you talking about? How about you let me finish? The catch is with this one, the cookies in this game are like my heart. Easy to break. And as you can guess, once the cookies are broken, you get the usual pop like the last game. You understand now? This is why you should have listened. Now I'll be honest, this one has to be one of the most terrifying ones in the entire series. Like if you played the Roblox version of this one in Shrimp Game, then you know how scary it can get. That game is unironically the closest we'll get to feeling the terror those characters feel in the show. You'll be carving out your slightly cracked cookie and then the next second hear little Timmy next to you. No, please, I want my mom. So when I'm in this one, my nerves gonna be at an all-time high. But before we figure out how to get around this one, first we gotta figure out which shape am I gonna get. Obviously the hardest shapes are the star and the umbrella, so it'd be better if I choose the triangle or the circle. But walking into this game, I wouldn't know I'm about to cut a cookie, just like the characters in the show, except Song-woo. And if I walk into a random room and see 4 shapes on a wall, I'm gonna be honest, triangle and circle are the ones I'm least likely to choose. Circles are too perfect, I can never draw them. And triangles, come on, bruh. I ain't Illuminati's. So in a real life situation, I'm probably choosing one of the harder ones. Most likely, the star. Staryu and Starmie were some of my favorite Pokemons growing up, so it's fitting. Now that I have my cookie, it's time to find a way to cut it. As some of y'all know, to get around the brittleness of the cookie, G-Hud, after sweating from being so nervous, discovered a trick. He found out he could use his saliva as some sort of softener for the cookie in order to cut out his shape more easily. And I gotta give him his flowers, because in this situation, I am not coming up with this. Look, I may love sweets, but the last thing I'm gonna be thinking about in a life or death situation is licking a cookie. I'm not Rod Wave. So that strat is off the table, meaning I gotta do it the old fashioned way, which may seem more challenging to the average person, but let me give y'all a little tidbit of knowledge about myself. Before I dreamt about being a YouTuber, I actually wanted to be an artist. And I don't mean a singer or a rapper, I mean a Picasso, a Vincent van Gogh, a Leonardo DiCaprio. Check out the art, check out the art. And as you can tell, I was super talented. So regardless of how much pee I got running down my leg, my hand's gonna be as steady as a pole. And steady enough to cut the shape without having to do any of that licking. Pause. So I'm cutting that shape out easily. How am I supposed to prove that to you? Well, all right, as you guys can see, here we have our cookie looking real clean, looking real nice. As you guys can also tell that there was a test cookie. I ain't gonna stall too much. Let's get straight into it, all right? So I'm gonna start that timer. Now rocking with the South Park BJs. 3, 2, 1. It's a little harder than I thought. A little harder than I thought. It's all right. Unlike the other 2 games, this is the first one where I have to work with a team. The game is simple, tug of war. Y'all know there's a rope, both teams pull, one team loses. Very simple stuff. But since it's Squid Game, instead of falling into a pit full of mud or just falling over onto some grass, in this game, you free fall into some concrete. So we don't want to lose this one. And we won't. This one is light. All I gotta do is do what most of the winning teams did and pick a team with the strongest people there. And that's it. I most likely won. The only obstacle here is literally if the other team had the main character on their side and they start pulling out that reverse Michael Jackson lead. That's gonna be tough to beat. Besides that though, easy wins. Bonus points if the other team is full of old and starving people. That'll be a landslide victory. Before we continue to the next game though, around this time is when the game makers decide there's a lot of people left. A little too many. So they decide to turn off the lights. I know this isn't a game per se, but it's happened in both seasons, so I'm including. Once the lights are turned off, the dorm the contestants sleep in becomes a bloodbath. Pretty much a huge free-for-all. And I'm not gonna hold you, this one may have me a little startled. I mean, these folks are dropping like flies. But although I'm a little scared, I'm making it through the night. Listen, I've played hella shooters and I've seen Revenge of the Sith, so I know how important high ground is in a situation like this. And that's why my strategy for this one is to go to one of them top bunks like the old man did. I don't know how he got up there to this day. And if anyone tries to come up, they getting kicked, spat on, pushed. Tell Thanos back up. I keep my forks on me. I just know in this situation I'm defending myself and the people I care about. Unlike Player 125. You know, in real life, I rarely get mad. Someone could bump into me, accidentally step on my shoe. I've been cursed out by crackheads on the regular. But when I was laying on my couch watching this scene, oh my goodness. I almost went Super Saiyan. You are the biggest scaredy cat. The biggest coward. The biggest
poltroon.
I thought it. You thought it. We all thought this dude, after missing that bottle throw, was really about to jump from the top rope and RKO this dude. But we were all wrong. He just sat there and watched. You know, before us, there was 2 characters that I hated in this series. But you just made it a top 3 because I hate you. At least when Sang-woo killed people or let people die, you know he was doing it for the money, for the end goal, for the vision. There was motive. It made sense. But you disgust me. Anyways, where was I? I have a fork, Thanos. This is another one of the new ones they added in season 2. Y'all know it, the one with them saying hot tour, hot tour, hot. And it's another one where I have to work with a team. Boo. Yeah, I know. But in this one, instead of one game together, you and your teammates play 5 mini games separately. Well, as separate as you can be when your legs are tied together. That's right. Not only are we playing multiple games in this one, but this is also a 6-legged race. We all remember how difficult and annoying the 3-legged race used to be when we were younger. You got some dude slowing you down the whole time. That was usually me. So this one being double the legs and quadruple the people holding you back makes it at least 2 times harder. The 5 mini games we play in this one are Dakji, Stone Toss, Gongi, Spin the Top, and Jeggy. And thankfully, as a team, we at the very least get to decide who plays what. And honestly, I can do any of the games. It don't really matter. But give me Stone Toss. I'll take Stone Toss. You know, I used to play baseball back in like '09. Check out the trophy. Check out the trophy. When it comes to throwing, I got it. Except when it comes to throwing the game. All right. After we decide which game I'm gonna do, it really just depends on my team. And if I had to make one, this would be the dream team. I do 120 Hyunju for Motivation and Jeggy, me on Stone Toss, 222 on Dakji, gotta protect her, 149 on Gongi. Now I know Daeho is better at it, but come on, bro. That's Granny. We gotta make sure she's good. And finally, the final member, the front man for the spinning top game. And cause I'm gonna need someone to hype me up when we win, I don't see a single flaw in this team. So the pentathlon, we're bodying that. Probably the most popular game since the original red light, green light, and it's also the most chaotic. We all sit on a spinning carousel that eventually stops, and when it does, the announcer says the number that me and some participants would have to fill a room within 30 seconds. That is not a lot of time. The number of people in the room has to be the exact number. Can't be too high or too low, because if it is, you get popped. And what happens if you don't make it into a room? Well, now I've seen a lot of people on the internet say they're dying in this. It's too chaotic, too much going on, you need social skills to beat it. But the only reason they say that is because they're going about it all wrong. While most people are worried about making alliances and trying to go into groups before the rooms start filling up, you go with him, I'll go with her. Nah, forget that. I'ma worry about me. My number 1 priority in this one is getting into a room on my own. Like I said earlier, I don't trust anybody here. I ain't trying to get left behind like the shaman, and I ain't trying to have Thanos hit me with the "you out, let's go." So I'ma avoid that whole group stuff entirely. And since I'm on my own, I don't gotta deal with the burden of having social skills to team up with people. Now you're probably like, what do you mean? The whole point of the game is to get into groups. How are you supposed to win? I got this, don't worry. Let's say the announcer yells out 10. All I gotta do is look around the carousel for a group that has that exact number and follow them. I'll trail behind them as they search for a room, and right before they go in, I'll pull a player 51 and tackle the last one out the way. Then I'll pull a 333, lock the door, and secure my spot as number 10 instead of them. It's gonna be like the Uni scene all over again, but I made it, so I'm sorry, 120. Oh, but what if they're too big for you to tackle them? Simple. While I'm trailing behind the last one, all I gotta do is pull a
"Is that the band New Jeans right behind us all of a sudden, right now, right behind us?"
and at least one of them last dudes definitely gonna turn around. And I don't blame them. How sweet is a vibe? Then I just repeat that strat for 4 more rounds, and that's mingle. Only thing that can stop me here is if I get in the whole, "Hey, I was here first" situation with like the front man or 120. I'm probably not gonna be able to do much with a snap neck. This is another difficult one, but not in the same way the cookie one was. Not at all. In this one, just like the last one, we're on teams, specifically teams of 2. So you gotta make sure you get with someone you trust. The goal of the game is to play mini games, and if you're choosing, the lead tier team eventually taking all of the opposing team's marbles. Pretty easy, doesn't seem too bad, right? But the catch is with this one, instead of another pair of people being your opposition, your partner is your opposition. Ah, come on. This is by far the saddest Squid game of them all. I remember watching this episode for the first time back in Big 21, and it literally ruined my whole day. There was the dude who played with his wife, Ji-hun and the old man, Ji-young and Sae-byuk, Sang-woo and Ali. It was just too much. These characters spent so much time together just for them to have to practically kill each other. It was just all too much. Ali. And if it hurt this much as a viewer, it's gonna be even worse when I'm in the game, cause my partner gonna be somebody that I rock with. 149, you gotta go, my girl. It's gonna be hard to work up the courage, but we gotta play. I ain't trying to die. I know it's messed up, but we gonna have to fleece Granny out her marbles. And since the game is up to us, I'm thinking of a game that requires some steadiness of the hands, like that one throwing game that 101 played, or Jenga. We're gonna have to see if they got that. Either way, Granny's arthritis gonna get the best of her, and
They gonna have to pack her up.
It's gonna hurt, but hey, on the bright side, I won.
And I still got 222.
This is definitely the hardest one I've faced yet. Y'all know how it works. We gotta make it across this glass bridge under a certain amount of time, but for every safe tile there's an identical unsafe tile right next to it. So pretty much every tile you jump on is a coin toss. And there's 18 jumps. Y'all can do the math on that, but I don't think we all making it. And the hard part about this one is not even the low chance of you surviving. It's the low chance of anyone even going. I played this game on Fortnite and on Roblox, and no one ever goes. Maybe sometimes on Roblox, those are practically toddlers playing, but most of the time, these dudes be so stubborn that they won't even move a millimeter unless someone else does first. And I would know. I'm one of those dudes. And it's gonna be the same thing in real life. I ain't letting no one capitalize off my sacrifice. So this people not wanting to go thing is definitely going to be an obstacle. On top of that though, I didn't mention this earlier because I didn't think it was going to be important to bring up, but now it feels relevant. Guys, let's remember, this show takes place in South Korea. Everyone here is Korean, and I am not. What if they're racist? If they're willing to take out each other to win, what do you think they're going to do to the brown one? I pray they aren't, man. It's going to feel like I'm back in one of them old stereotypical Korean shops. But instead of the usual hurry up and buy, I'm here. Hurry up and die! Alright, in all seriousness with this one, only thing that can really save me here is the order. If I'm dead last, maybe I might be able to make it if the people ahead of me get enough tiles right. But if I'm first, right, buddy. I already said earlier I'm not moving, so y'all can clear a path, or I guess we all gonna die. The final game, the most dramatic game, and the most intimate game of them all, because it's a 1v1. In this one, there's a defense and an offense. The offense's goal is to make it to the top of the squid, while the defense has to stop the offense from making it by pushing them out the square. And if neither player wants to do all that, well, you can kill the other guy. You know, this one isn't too shabby. Yeah, the other person against me might be trying to kill me the whole time, but I don't gotta kill them. Technically, if I'm on offense, all I gotta do is hit him with a little, hey, where you going? Juke moves and get to the top of the squid. And if I'm on defense, all I gotta do is push them out the square. How am I gonna do that? Simple, just knock them out. Y'all don't even know how deadly my right hook could get. Like, listen to this. That was just a jab. So for the final game, Squid Game, would I survive it? 1000%. Don't matter who's in front of me. This one is for all the marbles. No pun intended. It could be the front man. It could be Jihan. It could even be Legend Thanos. I told you I keep that fork on me, bro. Back up. Point is, whoever's in front of me, they getting that work. They getting juked. They getting pushed out. It don't matter. Because at the end of the day, I'm winning the Squid Game. Probably. It depends on which games we play and what the games are in season 3. And also if my opponent is 2-2. I can't kill her. That was pretty much all the Squid Game games I could go over today. Comment down below any of the ones you guys think I was wrong or right about. And tell me which ones you guys think you would have survived. I'm interested. But don't lie and tell me you're cutting out that umbrella, because I know you ain't. And moral of the story? You